Okay, so we'll kind of slowly get started, see if our one more person joins us. Okay, well, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Mellow Flow. I think this is our last Zoom-only class, and then Desert Zen is opening tomorrow. But if you haven't heard, they will still be doing the classes live. Our classes will be live, but we'll be recording them as well. So if you're not comfortable coming to the studio yet, you can still join through Zoom. Just sign up online. Also, if you do come to the studio, you have to sign up online. We're not allowed to take walk-ins. So just make sure that you sign up online and check out our schedule and come join us when you're ready. So we'll start out. We don't need any props today. If you like to have some blocks nearby, definitely have those, but we're just going to do a mellow flow, get our bodies moving. As always, listen to your body. If something doesn't work for you, you can modify it. I try to give a lot of modifications anyway, but just listen to your body and realize that our bodies are kind of different right now. Maybe not everyone, but me in particular, my body just isn't doing the things it was doing before. So be patient with yourself and do what works for you. So we'll start out in a comfortable seated position. And then just close your eyes. If you'd like, you can place your hands at heart center. And then start to quiet your mind. Try to ignore what might be going on around you. Try to set aside whatever else you have to do today and allow this time for yourself. And take a deep breath in. And take a long, slow exhale out through your mouth. Again, deep breath in. Long, slow exhale out through your mouth. And do a few rounds of breath like this on your own. And with each exhale, let go of anything that doesn't serve you. Let go of any expectations, any judgments, and any negativity. Do one more round of breath this way. And then return to your natural breath. And then slowly start to open your eyes. You can place your hands on top of your legs. Take a deep breath in and shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale, open your chest and slide your shoulder blades down your back. Again, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale down. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And we're going to start out with a neck stretch. So we're going to bring the right ear over to the right shoulder. Go gently, slowly starting to open up the side of your neck. Try to keep the shoulders down away from the ear. Stopping wherever you get a good stretch. And then gently start to roll your chin down toward your chest. Stretching the back of your neck. And then gently start to roll your left ear over towards your left shoulder. And then gently roll the chin back down towards the chest. And then gently give your head a couple of rolls in each direction, nice and slow. Feeling the stretching in your neck. And then bring the head back up to center. Next, we're going to take the right arm across the body. Use your left hand to press the arm closer to you, stretching out your shoulder. And then release, shake that arm out. And then we'll bring the left arm across, stretching that shoulder. And then release that arm. And the left arm is going to come up into the air, stretch up tall. And then place your right hand on the floor beside you and start to lean over. Go slowly so you can really get the stretch. Really feel your body start to opening up. Just keep walking that hand out as you need to. And then once you've stretched as far as you can, try to keep the left sitting bone on the mat if possible. And come back up to center. We're going to bring the right arm up, left hand just on the mat for now. Stretch up tall first. And then slowly start to walk the left hand out as far as you need it, getting that side stretch. Feeling the ribs separate away from each other. And slowly come back up. Next, we're going to come into fire log pose. So we'll take the right shin parallel with the edge of your mat. Take the left shin directly on top of that. If this doesn't work for you today, you could do cross leg pose instead. Then we're going to place the fingertips out on the floor in front of you. That might be enough of a stretch and hip opener for you today, or you can start to walk forward, breathing into the hips, being careful of the lower back, stopping wherever you need to. If you have blocks and you'd like to place the blocks under your forehead to relax into the pose a little bit more, you can do that. Take one more breath here. And then slowly start to walk in, sitting up tall. And then we'll switch the top and bottom legs. If you're in cross leg pose, switch the cross of your legs. And then bringing the fingertips out in front of you, staying there or slowly walking forward, breathing into the hips and listening to your body. One more breath here. And then slowly walk the hands back in. Sitting up tall, let both of the hips evenly sink back into the mat. And then we're going to bring the legs out in front of you, coming into staff pose. Straightening the legs. You can wiggle your knees at first if you need to. And then flex your feet, bringing the inner edges of your feet out, outer edges of your feet back, sitting up tall. And we're going to inhale and sweep the arms up into the air, stretching up tall. And then exhale, fold forward. Just go to wherever your hands land for this one. And then inhale, slide the hands back up, stretch up tall. And then exhale, this time go to wherever you get the best stretch. And release and slowly roll back up to staff pose. Next, we're going to take the right foot outside of the left leg. We're going to bring this left hand outside of the knee, right hand behind you, and start to twist. You can stay with the hand here, or to get more twist, press your elbow into the knee. And then inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist open. This last one, inhale one more time, lengthening a little bit more. And then exhale, seeing if you have any more room to twist. And then turn back towards the center. Legs back in staff pose. And then we'll switch left foot outside of the right leg, starting to twist open to the left. Keeping your hand either at the knee, or you can bring the elbow outside the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And one more inhale and lengthen. One more exhale and twist. And then turn back to the center, back to staff pose. Next, we're going to swing the legs around and come to hands and knees. Making sure that the wrists are directly under the shoulders, knees under hips, and feet in line with knees. And we'll do some cat-cow stretches. So we'll round the spine, press the spine up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin for cat. And then drop the belly, lift the chin for cow. Round for cat. Drop and lift for cow. And go ahead and move through these with your own breath. Getting your spine moving. Getting some of that stiffness out of your body. Let's do one more cat. And one more cow. And then return to a neutral spine. Next, we're going to do some rib circles. So we're going to try to circle just the ribs around, like in a clockwise direction. A little bit of your body moves, but try not to make it about your hips or your shoulders. Try to move just the ribs as much as possible. And then go the other direction. And then come back to a neutral spine. Next, we're going to bring the right leg out behind you, coming up onto the ball of the foot, and then press through the heel. So pressing back as if you're trying to touch the heel to the floor. Getting a good calf stretch. And then bring the heel back up to center. We're going to lift that foot up, bring it off and over to the left, and then look over at the foot to get a good stretch down your right side. And then bring that foot back. We're going to bring the knee back in, and then bring the left foot out behind you on the balls of the foot, and then press through the heel as much as you need to get that stretch in your calf. And then bring the heel back up, and we'll lift that foot, bring it off to the side, to the right. Look over at the foot, finding your stretch down the left side. And then bring that foot back in. Bring the knees back in. You can kind of circle around or do some wrist circles here quickly to just stretch your wrists out. And then readjust. Next, we're going to keep the knee bent. We're going to lift the right knee, keeping it bent, bringing it out to the side. And we're going to bring it back to the center, but don't set it down, and then bring it out behind you. We're going to go center, side, center, behind you. Let's do 3 more. Center, side, center, behind you. Try to keep your weight evenly on both hands. Try not to lean on one side as much as possible. Last one. Hold that foot out straight. Stretch through the toes. And then you can set the knee down. Readjust. We'll do it on the other side, lifting that left knee out to the side. Center. Stretch it out behind you. Center. Behind you. Out to the side. Behind you. Side. Behind you. I think we have one more, so out to the side. Stretch that foot out behind you. Stretch through the foot. And then set that knee down. And go ahead and take a child's pose, stretching the lower back out, stretching the arms to the top of the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to come back up onto hands and knees. Then we're going to tuck the toes and come into first a bent leg downward dog, really bending your knees, pressing your hips up towards the ceiling, and then slowly start to straighten your legs. And you can pedal your feet, stretching the legs out. Bring both of the heels back towards the mat. We're going to set the knees down. And we're going to lift the knees up, coming into bent leg downward dog. Straighten the legs. Set the knees down. As soon as the knees go down, come right back up, bent leg downward dog. Straighten the leg. Set the knees down. Again, back up. Straighten. Knees down. One more. Straighten and knees down. Next, we're going to come into a downward dog. And then walk your hands back to your feet and come into forward fold. You can bend your knees as much as you need to, finding the stretch in the backs of your legs. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then come into your half lift. Straighten your legs, flattening your back. And forward fold. And then reverse swan dive, slowly coming up, reaching up, and bring the arms back down. Then again, sweeping the arms up. Swan dive, forward fold. Half lift, forward fold. And then walk your hands out into plank. Your knees can be up or down. And then slowly lower down. Point your toes, press up into cobra. Lower down. Tuck your toes, press back, downward dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, forward fold. Half lift, forward fold. And then reverse swan dive, sweeping the arms up, bringing them back down. Again, sweep them up. Swan dive, forward fold. Half lift, forward fold. And then walk your hands out into plank. And lower down. Point your toes, press up cobra. Lower down. Tuck your toes, press back, downward dog. Walk the hands back to the feet, forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. And reverse swan dive, sweeping the arms up. Bringing them back down. One more, sweeping the arms up. Swan dive, forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Walk your hands out into plank and lower down. Press up into cobra, lower down. Tuck the toes, press back, downward dog. Press your heels down towards the mat, stretching the legs. And then walk your hands back to your feet, forward fold. And then slowly start to roll up. We're going to sweep the arms up slowly, bringing the palms together. Sorry, I thought you would be able to see me, but I think you can. Okay, palms together, cross your thumbs, stretch up. And then we're going to press the hips out to the left and crescent over to the right. Stretch back up and then go to the left. Come back up to center, release the arms and swan dive, forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. And then sweep the arms back up, palms together. Cross the thumbs. We're going to crescent to the left first this time, stretching that side, squeezing the arms. Come back up to the right. Come back up to center, release the arms, forward fold. Half lift, forward fold. And we're going to walk our hands out into plank. Setting up, you can have knees down if you need to. And then we're going to press up into downward dog. And then we're going to come back to plank. Back to downward dog. Back to plank. Downward dog. One more time, plank. And downward dog. And we're going to lift the right foot up into the air, stretching it up. You can keep it there or bend the knee, open the hip and look underneath the right armpit. A good hip stretch. Then we're going to step that foot all the way through. Take as many steps as you need though, bringing the foot in between the hands into a low lunge. Then we're going to drop the knee, place the top of the right foot on the floor, and start to lift the arms straight up into the air. Then maybe back bend, looking up at the ceiling. And then bring the hands back down to the mat. Lift that knee, step the right foot back to downward dog. Then we're going to lift the left leg up, stretch it up, keep it there, bend the knee, open the hip, look underneath the left shoulder or left armpit. And then step that foot through into the low lunge. Drop the knee, place the top of the foot on the floor, stretch the arms up. Stay there or add the back bend. Good, then bring the hands back down, lift the knee, step that left foot back, downward dog. And then we're gonna lift the right leg again, stretch it up and then step it forward, low lunge. Get your balance, we're gonna press up into high lunge. Back heel is up. Then we're gonna maybe step that back foot in, drop the heel, warrior one. Bring this left hip, gonna roll it forward a little bit. Then we're gonna open up into warrior two. And drop your back hand, bring the right arm up and over, reverse warrior. Then we're gonna flow into a triangle. So we're gonna straighten this right leg, slide your hand down your shin. You don't have to go all the way to the floor for this. Stretch the left arm up. Then we're gonna come into a reverse triangle, just like reverse warrior, but straight knees. Then we're gonna go back to the triangle. Back to the reverse triangle, warming up the hips. Warming at the side of the body, just going back and forth. Feel free to take your own pace, but maybe getting in about 4 of these. So let's do one more triangle, one more reverse triangle. And then when you come up, come into warrior 2. So bend the knee, cartwheel the hands down, come to the low lunge. And then step back to downward dog. And then we're gonna lift the left leg up. Step it forward into low lunge. Get your balance, press up into high lunge. Step that heel in if you need to, placing the heel on the mat for warrior 1. And then open up warrior 2. Drop the backhand, reverse warrior. And then coming into that triangle flow. Again, feel free to take your own pace, just going back and forth. So let's do one more triangle. One more reverse triangle. And then coming back into a warrior 2. Cartwheel the hands down to that low lunge. Step back, downward dog. Or you can take a child's pose if you need to here. Then we're gonna come into a plank. Again, knees can be down. Back to a plank. We're gonna come into side planks. So if you'd rather have knee down side planks, that's fine, I'll teach it that way. If you wanna do knee up and just drop your feet, you can do that. So if we're on the knees, we're gonna take the right foot off to the side, left foot comes out straight, coming onto the right knee, right hand, stretching the left hand up. Come back to center to your plank. Lift the knees if you want here. And then coming off to the left. Come back to a plank. And then side plank to the right. Back to a plank. Last one, side plank to the left. Come back to your plank. Press up into downward dog. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Forward fold, and then grab opposite elbows and just hang there. Taking a couple of breaths. You can sway side to side if you'd like. And then release the elbows and slowly come up. As you come up, start to bring the hands back up overhead. You're going to bring the palms together, but you don't need to hook the thumbs this time. Getting your feet, having a little bit of space in between there. Stretch up tall. And then we're going to sit back into chair pose and keep the palms together out in front of you. Squatting down, and then clasp your hands, turn your palms around and bring the palms up towards the ceiling. And then bring the hands at heart center, sit back into chair. You can stay here or twist open to the right, bringing the elbow outside the knee, pressing the heart towards the hands. And then come back to center, bringing the arms up. Then we're gonna bring them back down. And then palms up towards the ceiling. Hands at heart center. And then twist to the left. Come back to the center. Hands up overhead. Sit back, palms out in front of you. Interlace the fingers up towards the ceiling. Sit back, hands at heart center. Twist to the right. Come back to the center. Hands up overhead. Last one. Sit back, palms out in front of you. Interlace the fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Hands at heart center, sitting back. And twist to the left. Come back to the center. And then stand in mountain pose, taking a couple of breaths. Grab water if you need water. You're in mountain pose, pressing your feet firmly into the floor. Open the chest. Good. Next, we're going to balance on the left foot first. So we're going to kick this right leg back, grab the foot with your hand, stretch your left arm up, getting a standing quad stretch. If you'd rather place your hand on your hip, if your balance is a little off today, that's fine. Stretching up. But then we're going to grab this foot. If you could bring your foot to the top of your leg, you can grab it and place it there for tree. If you have it down lower, just go ahead and place it. Getting set up for tree. Open this knee up. Hands can be at heart center, or you can bring them up overhead. Placing or pressing the four corners of your feet into the mat. Lift up above the kneecap, presses that muscle into your foot, press back into it, and you notice that naturally opens your hip a little bit more. Good, release. Shake that out. We'll do it on the other side. So now we're gonna balance on the right foot. Grab the left foot, bring that arm up into the air or on your hip, whatever works today. Getting that standing quad stretch. And then place the foot high up on your thigh or place it wherever you like it for tree. When your legs are situated, you can add the arms however you'd like. Hands at heart center, reaching up. And then really pressing through the four corners of the feet, lifting up on that kneecap, above the kneecap, pressing your foot back into the muscle. Good, and then release and shake that out. Then we're gonna come to the back of your mat. Standing in mountain pose. We're gonna bend the knees and just come into a yoga huddle, stretching the back out. And then coming into a forward fold slowly, keeping the knees pretty bent for this as you slowly go towards hands towards the floor. And then come into a half lift. And forward fold. This time, if you'd like to straighten your legs where you can. And we're going to come down onto hands and knees. We're going to come into pigeon pose. I'll walk you through pigeon pose, but if pigeon pose doesn't work for you, lay on your back and do a figure four stretch, which is this way. So just the ankle on the knee. For pigeon pose, we'll start out on hands and knees, and we'll bring the right knee to the inside of the right wrist and slide that left leg out behind you, placing the top of the foot on the mat. And stay upright, or if you'd like to fold forward, you can walk the hands out any amount. Maybe come to elbows, or maybe make a forearm pillow. And then just breathe into that right hip. And then take one more breath here. And then slowly start to lift back up. Coming up onto your hands. And then to come out, you can just sit off to the side and swing your legs around, or you can bring that leg straight back. If you're laying on your back in figure four, switch legs. And then for pigeon, we're gonna bring that left knee to the inside of the left wrist, slide the leg back, right leg back, top of the foot on the mat. And then either stay upright or coming down any amount. Breathing into that left hip. One more breath here. And then slowly start to lift your head, coming back up onto your hands and coming back to hands and knees. If you're on your back, join us on hands and knees. And we're going to do thread the needle pose next. So we'll bring that right arm, stretch it out, and then thread it underneath your left arm, placing your shoulder and your head on the mat. If it doesn't comfortably go on the mat, you can place them on a block. And for a little bit more stretch, you can walk this left arm out towards straight. One more breath here. And then walk that left arm back in under the shoulder. Push up onto that left hand and bring the right arm out, stretch it back out. And then set it back down. And we'll do the left side, so stretching the left arm out to the side. And then threading it underneath the right arm, setting the shoulder and the head on the mat or on a block. Trying to keep the hips up. If it feels better, you can sit back like you would in child's pose. For more stretch, walking that right arm out. Maybe rolling back a little bit more on the left shoulder if you need more stretch. One more breath here. And then walk the right hand back underneath the shoulder, press up onto that hand, stretch the left arm out to the side, and then bring the left hand to the mat. Next, we're going to bring the knees wide on the mat and sit back for a wide knee child's pose, stretching the arms up. Take one more round of breath here. And then start to lift your head. Come back onto hands and knees as you bring your knees back in. And then we're going to swing the legs around and come to laying on your back. Placing the feet on the mat, knees bent. And then shrug your shoulders up to your ears and slide your shoulder blades down your back. Taking a couple breaths here. And then press your belly button down towards your spine and press your lower back into the mat. Keep pressing until you can't press anymore, and then hold it there. And then release. And now we're going to lift our hips up off of the mat, so make sure your feet are in line with your hips. You might need to walk your feet in closer to you, and then lift the hips up off of the mat, and then lower them back down. This time we're going to lift the hips up off of the mat and stretch the arms up overhead. And then lower the hips down, and then we're going to hug our knees, lift the head, curl up into a ball. And then bring the feet down, arms up, hips up. Lower down, curl up into a ball. Again, feet down, hips up, arms up. Hold it there. And then lower down, curling into the ball. And then lower your head down. Keep hugging the knees. Let your shoulders relax down to the mat. So you're not hugging so tight now. We're just gently hugging the knees in. And then from here, we're going to come into happy baby pose. So release your knees, bring the arms on the inside of your legs, grab the outside of your feet, and bring the feet up towards the ceiling. Press your feet into your hands, hands into your feet. Really open the chest, pressing the shoulders down towards the mat. And then release the feet. We're going to hug the right knee into the chest, stretch the left leg out long along the mat, stretching through the toes as you hug this right knee in. If you want to get this a little bit more into your hip, you can kind of bring the knee off to the right side. So you keep your foot where it's at, have your shin at a diagonal. And then using your left hand, we're going to take that knee across and over to the left, bringing your right arm out into T to the side. And then you can look straight up at the ceiling, or to add more twist, look over your right fingertips. One more breath here. And then bring that knee back up to center and stretch that leg out onto the mat, stretching through the right toes, and then hug the left knee in. If you want to get that a little deeper, just take that knee off to the left a little bit. And then using your right hand, take the knee across and over to the right. Bring that left arm out into T. And then either look straight up at the ceiling or over the left fingertips. One more breath here. And then bring the knee back up to center and stretch that leg out long along the mat, stretching through both sets of toes. And then lift your arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Take a deep breath here. Next, we'll come into banana pose. So you can keep your hands as they are, maybe on top of each other. You can grab opposite elbows, or you can grab your right wrist with your left hand. Then we're going to walk the feet over to the left, and then bring your upper body and arms over to the left. So we're stretching that whole right side. We're in the shape of a banana. Try to let your right shoulder relax a little bit. It's probably stiffening up. Just let it release a little bit if you can. Do 2 more rounds of breath here. And then walk your feet back to center. Bring the upper body back to center. If you're grabbing your wrist, grab your left wrist. If your hands were on top of each other, just switch that. And then we'll walk the feet over to the right. Bring the upper body over to the right. Finding that stretch down the left side, trying to relax that left shoulder a little bit. Breathing into your whole side body. Imagine each rib opening up. And take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then walk your feet back to center. Bring the upper body back to center. And then let your feet relax. Let your arms just drop open however it feels comfortable. And then maybe hug your knees into your chest. You might want to rock side to side. And then we're going to come into one last pose before Shavasana, which is just reclined butterfly pose. So if you have blocks and you like to place them under your knees for this, you can. We're going to bring the feet to the mat. Open your arms up like saguaro cactus. Your elbows are bent. And then dropping the knees open, bringing the bottoms of the feet together. You can have this as close, your feet as close as you'd like or farther away, whatever feels comfortable. If you have pillows nearby and you want to place pillows underneath your legs for support, you can do that as well. Just try to let your chest open up. Let your knees drop open. Allowing positive energy to enter in the body. Try to relax your jaw and your facial features. Relax your neck. Maybe even lift your head just slightly to tuck your chin just a little bit to lengthen your neck even more. Let the shoulders drop even more into the mat. Let the knees open a little deeper. You feel your lower back start to arch. Let that relax. Try to almost press the lower back towards the mat. And then next, take your left hand to your heart, right hand to your belly. And then take 5 deep breaths here. Nice and slow. Feeling your heart pressing into your hands. And as you exhale, your belly pressing into your right hand. After your 5 rounds of breath, return to your natural breathing. And then one leg at a time, start to bring one knee up to the center and then stretch it out on the mat. Then bring the other knee carefully up to center and stretch it out on the mat. And then you can release your hands however they're comfortable. And we'll get ready for Shavasana. Doing whatever you need to be comfortable. And closing your eyes. quiet the thoughts. Just let your breath relax. And starting with the top of your head, imagine the tension melting out of your forehead, out of your jaw, and out of your neck. And imagine the tension melting out of your chest, shoulders, arms and hands. Imagine the tension melting out of your back, abdomen, hips, legs, and feet until your whole body is completely relaxed. You have nothing to do for the next few minutes but relax. Shavasana. Start to bring your awareness back to your body. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Make some wrist circles, ankle circles. And then let your head drop over to the left. And then over to the right. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your side, pausing there for a moment. And then when you're ready, using your hands, push yourself up to seated with your eyes closed. If you'd like, you can place your hands at heart center. And then take a nice deep breath here. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Notice the difference in your thoughts, your breath, and your body from when you first started. Hopefully you feel a little more energized and a little less stress. May you be able to take that with you throughout the rest of your day. Thank you for your practice and your presence. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.